Don't you ever unsubscribe from my channel again, or I will stab you to death. Sup, bitches and stitches. So today we're doing a review on the Microtech SOCOM Elite Automatic. So this is a knife that, prior to me, before I even begin, if you could have given me a fucking solid gold Benchmade Infidel, and if it was tip down carry, I'd fucking poo-poo all over it. I fucking hate tip down carry. Tip up carry, right side, that's where it's at for me. Every single knife except for this one that I have ever really carried has been tip up. And then there's that, which I never really carried this. So I immediately would have poo-pooed it. And one more thing to mention is when it comes to EDC, everyday carry, there are some people who are like, well, you didn't use it every day, so you didn't need to say it. Well, shut the fuck up. But anyway, the Microtech SOCOM Elite. I didn't know if I was going to like it or not, to be honest with you. Tip down carry is a major turnoff for me and always has been. So this wasn't used every day. In fact, it wasn't used at all. But it was carried every day. So therefore it qualifies under EDC. And I'll tell you why. Because there are knives that you EDC that are used as tools. And there are knives that you EDC every day that are self-defense weapons. I wouldn't even call them weapons. I'd just say self-defense tools. You could EDC a gun every day for the rest of your life and never fire it one time. You still EDC'd it. So, with that being said, let's get on to the review. Super light knife, aircraft grade aluminum handles. The action on this is astronomically powerful. I normally hold it with two hands, but I'm going to hold it with two fingers just so that you can get an idea of how strong it is. I mean, it just fucking... Whoo. The spring action of this is obnoxious. I mean, it is really, really fucking powerful. Let's go ahead and weigh this. I wish I had my Spyderco resilience so that I could give you all an idea of, well, actually there's a ZT there. There's a pretty popular knife that we can compare this to. Oh, fuck my life, you son of a bitch. Not everybody lives in Britain. Okay, so 4 3/4 ounces. The ZT weighing in at 6 3/8. 6 3/8 ounces. Ferrum Forge, which we have yet to do a review on. Super light knife. Shut up. I've got a review for this thing. I have been using this. Smith & Wesson, I don't know what to call it. 3 3/4. The Ruach Fangs, a little heavy. Yeah, 5 3/8. That's probably the heaviest out of them. So, EDCing a self-defense knife. Self-defense tool. We're going to say tool. At first, I was turned off by the SOCOMs until I actually owned one because of, obviously, the tip-down carry. I'm used to the knife being in my pocket like this, and when I pull it up, there's a hole in there that I can flick open this way or that way, or there's a flipper on the back. There's a tab on the back that I can flip it open with. I didn't get this with this, so it took some getting used to. After 2 weeks of carrying this thing, My opinions have changed, and that is because when this is, I'll tell you what, when this thing is sitting in your pocket, right side, immediately when you pull this thing, you're no matter where you fucking grab this thing to pull it, you could pull it straight up, off to the side, off to this side. No matter where you pull this from, your finger is right on that button. That is what makes this an excellent self-defense knife. The spring action is super fucking quick. You get a great fucking handle on it. An exponentially awesome handle on it. And part of the reason why I didn't use this to begin with was that it's serial number 18. I mean, dude, how many fucking people do you know have that low of a number? I mean, God, it's got to be made out of what, 10,000? 10,000 socom elites made out there? And I've got number 18. So that's why I didn't make it an everyday user like I did my ZT or my Ferrum Forge or Ruag or that one. When this is sitting in your pocket and you grab it, it's they intentionally designed that so that your hand, no matter how you grab it, if it's from resting position in your pocket, is going to be right there on that fucking button, ready to go at any time. It's just as fast as any flipper. It's just as fast as fucking any Spyderco, anything, if not a little quicker. So that kind of changed my mind completely about tip downs. The EDCing this as a self-defense knife. There are people who feel more comfortable EDCing a gun. There are people who feel more comfortable EDCing a knife. Mythbusters has done a thing on that where, you know, if you're within a 20-foot radius of somebody, which is about gunfighting distance typically, it is actually faster to have a knife and run towards the person who's drawing the gun and cocking it, because you'd have it lodged into their chest by the time they even got a chance to, before they even put their fingers on the trigger to pull it. So that's one thing. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, which just I'm going to take you into my world and the way that I look at knives, because you wouldn't understand it just seeing this. You'd be like, oh wow, it's a knife. Well, let me explain why. So, a knife to me is, well, obviously a tool, but self-defense knife is how do I say this? Well, okay, so if I had to pick and choose, there is nothing more catastrophic when it comes to defending yourself than stabbing somebody to death, than slicing them wide open and their guts are pouring out of them, their fucking gallbladders hanging out the fucking side, their kidneys are popping out of their stomach. There's nothing more catastrophic. If you think about it, pushing somebody off a building, hitting them with your car, shooting them, it's so quick. But with a knife, you literally give that person the opportunity to think to themselves, while they're bleeding to death all over the floor, holding their intestines inside of them, I forgot to tell my wife I love her today. And they get that peaceful moment with God right before they meet him. And that's, as sick as that is, that is the way that when I look at a knife, that is where my mind travels to. And this became a self-defense knife to me, which a lot of people buy these. A lot of people try to EDC them. They don't like them. They sell them. They sell them for super cheap. They sell them for $100 off. They're like, fuck this. It's in brand new condition. And it's because it's not to their liking. And their liking is typically tip up, right side carry. Well, this is tip down, right side carry. But I look at it like this is Bowler M390 steel, which is not going to fucking dull. The reason why this knife wasn't EDC'd is because when you have a self-defense knife, you are not supposed to use that self-defense knife as a tool to cut letters or boxes or shoelaces or plastic or anything like that, because one day your life might absolutely depend on that tool. And that is the difference between a self-defense tool and an EDC knife, or a knife that you use as a tool on an everyday, regular occasion. A knife that you would use as a tool on an everyday, regular occasion should be something of a high grade steel that holds an edge for a long time and can do every task that you need it to throughout the day. This can do that. It can. But I don't want it to. I want this to be readily available, because that tip would just slip into somebody's skin like fucking butter. There would literally be no fucking resistance at all. The closer you get to it, the sharper it is. I swear to God. That tip would have no resistance at all, slicing into somebody's skin. And this blade would have no resistance at all, except for when you're hitting the bone as you're going through somebody's fucking belly. This is the perfect idea of what a self-defense knife should be. Perfect. Its deployment happens with the click of a button. It happens so fast, the spring is obnoxiously strong. Once again, obnoxiously strong. The balance point is right about where this is. Here, try to balance it on my finger. It's right about where that is. This would make a great fighting knife. I'm not in the military. I've never been in the military, but a lot of people stray away from automatics because they're afraid, well, what if it doesn't deploy? And especially people who need to be super quiet, Green Berets, Navy SEALs, they don't want that snap, pop, obviously. But in a self-defense situation where you walk into a gas station and somebody's, pulls up their hoodie and they show a pistol grip and they say, hey, walk over to that ATM. When you pull this thing out and they hear that fucking authoritative pop, you mean fucking business, man. I mean, this knife is the knife has given me all the confidence in the world that I can defend my life within a reasonable situation. I mean, obviously this wouldn't do me any good if I was facing a sniper or something like that, but it gives me enough confidence that I feel free. I don't have to worry about things. And that's the feeling that I get every time I put it in my pocket. So that's my way of telling you that I really, really fucking like this knife a lot. As far as EDC is concerned, no, I have not used it every day, but yes, I have carried it. And I love this knife. I would definitely recommend anybody getting a Microtech socom Elite. There are cheaper on the market, but I mean, dude, Bowler M390 steel. You're getting serious fucking quality with this. Granted, it comes with a price point, but hey, look, man. I mean, if you ever need to sell it, hey, these sell for what you buy them for. So give it a shot, man. I mean, it's as far as collectors are concerned, this is definitely worth keeping into your collection, is what I'm saying. But I absolutely love it. The grip on this thing is just, it's really rugged, really nice. Everything fits perfectly. You got plenty of length, just in case you actually need to use that glass breaker, because a lot of glass breakers will come and they'll be like fucking up here or something, and it's like by the time you puncture that window, your fucking hand's already through the glass. So it's like, obviously if you get pulled over, you don't want to call that a skull cracker, but that's this is a self-defense tool, people. So self-defense tools are not designed to be used every day. They're designed to save your life when you need them. And this is an excellent purchase, in my opinion. Excellent grip all the way around this knife. There's nowhere that you're going to touch this knife where you don't have excellent fucking grip. I mean, everything just fits so perfectly. The way my pinky just wraps right into that choil. And the whole time when I'm squeezing this, I can feel that it's almost like a skateboard grip tape. I can feel that. Like nobody's ripping this knife out of my hand. Nobody. So, I don't know, man. You try and find a nicer knife. And I'm sure they're out there, but at this price point, you'd be stupid not to buy a Microtech. In my opinion. I really like this knife. It's gorgeous. But alright guys, that is my review on the Microtech SOCOM Elite. We'll see you.